If you've ever been out with anyone and you were trying to think of a place to eat and you're looking up restaurants, most websites or apps on your smartphones will have a key indicating how expensive that establishment might be. Use a series of dollar signs or whatnot. So we're going to do the same thing here. Under the other trendy spots, we're going to just pretend we've got 3 different places, and we want to designate a dollar sign that lets people know, what they could expect to pay at these 3 places. So I'm going to set up a tab stop in InDesign so that when I type my dollar signs on the right hand side, they actually will come out from the right hand side and be aligned on the right edge, rather than tabbing them over from the left manually and trying to visually line that up, which never works. I'm going to let InDesign set up the tab on the right hand side there for me. So the first thing I'll do, because I know I want this tab for all 3 of these places, I'm going to highlight all 3 just like they are now. I'll go back and do it again. So highlight all 3. That way this tab stop will be set for all 3. I won't have to do this 3 different times. The next thing is I have to find my tab properties. I have to find the panel. So manually, or if you want to go the long way, you can find it under the type menu. So type and tabs, or I can use the shortcut, which I prefer. So Shift Command T on the Mac and Shift Control T on the PC. So Shift Command T, and there are my tabs. All right. First thing you'll notice, it's got 4 different flavors of tab. All right, or alignments to choose from. There, your traditional is just from the left. You've got centered from the right, and then centered on a decimal, or as it says there, other specified characters, and I'll show you what that does in a minute. That's really kind of cool, pretty powerful. All right, so I want to set a tab that comes from the right. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to go to this little gray area in between my options and my ruler, and I'm going to slide that over until I have it lined up exactly on that right hand side. All right, I go beyond it, I'm gonna have a problem. All right, I get right there and drop it. And so when I drop it, it's gonna tell me it's sitting at 2.375 inches, which is 2.375 inches from the left. Okay, that looks about right. If you knew of a specific place you wanted a tab, you could type it in there. All right. The next choice you have is a leader. A leader would be, let's say in a, I don't know, maybe a program of some sort, maybe for a play, and lead character played by so and so. Well, you have the lead character on the left, the person that's playing them on the right, and in between you have a little dotted line so that it lines up visually, people can tell. That's where you would put that. You'd type something like a period, and when I create my new character over here, I'll go ahead and do it. So with my cursor, I'll go tab and type, and you can tell it comes out from the right, and it has the leader, which is kind of cool. I like that. In this case, I don't want the leader, and I don't want a bunch of X's, but you could do that. All right. You can also see that that is the alignment to have it come out from the right. If I went from the left, so that would create some problems. It would push it to the next line. I would have to kind of realign. And by the way, if you want to realign, you can do that. You just grab the tab stop and drag it. You have to be careful, because if you don't grab it directly on it, you actually end up setting a new one. So you can see here now I've created a new one. I'm like, oh great, now I've got more than I wanted. So I'm a little messed up here. So how do I fix these? Well, first of all, this one we don't want. So I'm going to click right on it, and I'm going to drag it away and then let go, and it's gone. All right. Next, I need to fix this guy. So let's just click it to select it. You can tell in mine it's selected because it turned orange. I'm going to turn it back to a right justified tab. I'm going to slide it back to where it belongs. And then I'm going to go to the leader, and I'm just going to backspace over that character, hit enter, and I'm back to where I began. So that's going to be $1 sign. He's going to be $2 signs, and he's going to be $3 signs. And you notice now I have a problem because I did all my editing on one line, which is what I said at the beginning I did not want to do. Now I've got to go back and fix these. So let's highlight them both. And for that tab, backspace over the leader, And there we go. By the way, real quick, if you choose the align on decimal, if you had, say, a list of prices, InDesign would find the decimals in those prices and align those on one another. So anyway, that's kind of a handy feature. That's using tabs inside of InDesign CC.